Yo, what is up, everybody? Chris here from Esports News, Axis Rotation, however the flip you know me on these interwebs. And today I'm going to be bringing you guys a quick recap as to what happened during week 1 of stage 4 of the CDL going into DreamHack Dallas in a couple of weeks. Now, to kick things off, we of course had my home team, Atlanta Faze, taking on the Vancouver Surge. Give me a second to pull up the box score. Now, of course, this was one for the ages. As always, Faze versus Surge. You guys know I thought this one would be a game 5, as you can see on the screen here. Thought it'd be game 5 just because Surge and Faze have played each other very tight all year long. They are pretty even on the year. Let's look at their series head to head. So as you guys can see, they've been trading recently. Vancouver's took it 3 times to 2, and the most recent matchup, obviously, Faze was able to make it 3-3. So on the year, they're 3-3, and at Major 2, Faze, of course, was able to beat them in the grand finals where it mattered most. So yeah, I mean, if you're a Faze fan like myself, you feel good about this. They looked great in this matchup where they needed to. And let's get into the box score to see exactly how they got it done. Series MVP, Simp, the Prodigy. 101 kills, 77 deaths, a 1.3 on the series. Phenomenal. On the other side, Abuza, he absolutely cooked. He was 88 and 69 with a 1.28 for the Surge boys. In the map one, went the way of the Vancouver Surge, 250 to 190. They look dominant on this vault hardpoint. This is one of their bread and butter hardpoint maps, so not too surprising out of them. Abuza 36, 04 32, and then on the other side, everybody Faze on the Faze side negative, including selling him with 20 and 30. So uncharacteristically bad game for MC, and I think that was a difference maker there. In map 2, the Rewind S&D, Faze got their get back behind a very strong 6-3. And yeah, on the Vancouver Surge side, 04 Neptune, the sub duo, they tried their very best, 9-7 from Nep and 6-7 from 04. But on the other side, the Faze boys were too much. So 10-3 and Simp with 9-3. It was just way too much. In the map 3 Hacienda, it was pretty much a blowout from the Faze side. They got a quick 3-0, 29 from Simp, 17-13 from Draws, 17-8 from Cell. And yeah, everybody on the Vancouver Surge side, with the exception of Abuza, who went even, was negative. In the map 4 Rewind Hardpoint, this was a banger that went the way of the Vancouver Surge behind 33 from Nasty. I'm sorry, 33 from Abuza. Yeah, and honestly, on the Faze side, Simp did decently and so did Draws, but Cell got tucked and Abizi. I mean, he did decently. He was 27 and 30. He didn't do really bad. Then the game 5 Faze, they just, sat forward and they won 6-1. So yeah, Simp was 11 and 4 and Abizi was 7 and 6. So the Tiny Terrors, they were just doing what they wanted to on protocol, and it never looked difficult. In the next series, we had the Toronto Ultra taking on the Cloud9, the Carolina Royal Ravens. So let's look at that one. It was actually a pretty interesting one. So looking at it, the Ultra, of course, got a 3-1, as we all would expect. Who was the series MVP? Kleenex, of course, really the face of the Toronto Ultra over the last 5 years since the CDL's inception. Kleenex has really been a mainstay in the Toronto Ultra camp, really since the Cold War season. I think he got added in Modern Warfare. So yeah, he's really the staple of Toronto Ultra. And then on the Carolina Royal Ravens side, you can see that Rex and TJ both had about 90 kills. So they both had decent output for the series. Rex dropped 12k damage, so this was really a coming out series for him. And I think that bodes well for the Carolina Royal Ravens, long term, because they are a champs qualified team. So Kleenex won 104 and 87. He was truly the untradeable in this series with a 1.2. And then we, of course, let's get into the maps. So map 1, Skyline HP, went the way of the Toronto Ultra. They took it 250 to 184 behind 32 and 25 from Rex. And then on the other side for the Toronto Ultra, Kleenex was 31 and 30. And then Joe Deceives was 27 and 27. And Insight was right there with the two of them, 27 and 21. And that's how they got it done. Just great Ultra teamwork. And honestly, Beans didn't even have to do anything. He was 15 and 25. So they didn't even need him for this one. In the map 2, the Carolina Royal Ravens were able to get their get back in a round 11 on Dealership S&D. I'm really loving Dealership S&D. It's a great addition to the map pool. We get a lot of bang outs, high kills, high rounds, just always fun to watch. So Gwen was 9 and 6, Tej was 9 and 8, Rex was 11 and 8. Jesus Christ. And on the other side, Kleenex was 17 and 7 for the L. If someone put up a little bit more output, maybe the Ultra got it done a little bit earlier. Kleenex was having one of the most dominant individual S&D performances that I've seen in years that I can recall. So, yeah, I mean, if you're the Toronto Ultra, you definitely want that one back. But hey, you won the series, so it's fine. And then in the protocol control, the Ultra showed that the game 2 didn't affect them too much. Similar output from Kleenex. He did really well. Insight, of course, was the leader of the team with 29 and 21. He absolutely fried. And then Joe Deceives was 33 and 27, so he fried as well. It was just a close one. So Insight and Joe were the difference maker here for the Ultra. Kleenex and Beans did their thing for sure, but Insight and Joe, their impact was undeniable. And then on the other side for the Ravens, TJ Halley and of course Gwyn. That the typical duo of the Carolina Royal Ravens this year, right? They did the majority of the output, and Slash was right there with them, and so was Rex. So close game 5, but yeah, I mean Ultra, they just look better here. I think they also had defense, so that matters a lot. And then in the Hacienda hardpoint, the Ultra were able to close it out 250 177 behind a strong performance from their SMG duo of Joe Deceives and Kleenex, who put up 29 and 20 if you're Kleenex and 28 and 22 if you're Joe. And then on the Ravens side, you had Brex and Gwyn going even, but Slasher struggled mightily. And TJ, I mean, he did pretty solid, so not really a lot to say there. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty competitive series between these two teams. Ravens definitely look much improved. It's not like they got stomped in the hard points. They were pretty serviceable. If a couple key things go their way, they could have definitely won these games. But with all things being said, Toronto did look like the more dominant team in hard point consistently. And the S&Ds and the S&D S&Ds. There was not plural. S&D and the protocol control looked pretty good for Ravens. So very encouraging things going forward with this roster change long term. That's why I went to look at this series in expanded view. Now, our last series of the day was a 3-0 for the Cloud9 New York boys with Capsule and Spart. You guys can see I was expecting it to be a Vegas Falcons 3-1. I thought that their hard point would be better than the Cloud9 New York boys, but the Cloud9 New York boys are largely an unknown to this point. So that's why I was like, let's just throw one in the dark. So didn't work out as I expected, but it is week 1 with a new team for Cloud9, so this was just a feeling out thing. So now I know. In our next matchup, our first of Saturday, we kick things off with Pred versus Kenny. Of course, Vegas Falcons versus Minnesota Rokkr. So let's check it out and see how things went. Of course, it went 3-2 in favor of Pred and the boys because, you know, the theme with me with Vegas and Minnesota, if I pick one of them to go 2-0, they're going to go 0-2. Somehow, some way, they're going to go 0-2. So here we are again. Vegas got a very decisive 3-2 in a Game 5 Round 11, and let's see how. Exnid. He was a series MVP, the man of the match, the man of the day, whatever you want to call him. He was the guy who dropped 85 and 84 for the dub. Even though Pred outdid him in terms of kills and deaths, Exnid was just consequentially more important in the Game 5 Round 11. So let's look at the series in expanded view, or outside of expanded view. Let's look at it in depth. Let's go map by map, brick by brick. So speaking of brick by brick, yeah, the Vegas Falcons bricked here, not to use a Pokemon term aptly, but yeah, they bricked here. They did not get the card that they needed from the deck. Estriel went 27 and 17, and Nero went 28 and 18. So that's all she wrote. In the game 2, red card S&D, the Vegas Falcons took the map that we kind of all expected them to, which is the S&D. If there's one thing that they've been good on the season, it has been S&D and control. So the Vegas Falcons held strong here behind 9 and 7 from Priesta and 9-6 from RCs. The AR duo came to play, and that's how they got it done. Estriel and Kenny, they put up valiant effort here. 9 and 6 from Estriel and 8 and 6 from Ken. So very solid from both teams. Both teams are very good red card S&D teams. So it was definitely a fun one. But the Vegas Falcons, they showed better looks here, and their AR duo just gave them more consistent production. So looking at the Hossie map 3, we of course had the Vegas Falcons taking this very decisively with a 3-1. Exit and Pred, they went absolutely nuts. Exit with 25 and 15, Pred with 26 and 17. So yeah, they were just running rampant on the map. And then Kenny, 21 and 21, the only person go green on the Rokkr side. And Gio was right there with him with 20 kills. So decent enough pace from the Rokkr boys, but the Vegas Falcons were just applying way more pressure, and they were way more decisively winning their rounds. So looking at the map for Vault HP, we of course got a 29 bomb from Estriel and a 40 bomb from Geo. Geo went absolutely nuclear in this one. He dropped a 1.82 on their foreheads, on their head tops, and that's how they forced us to a game 5. Kenny, his AR duo, is right there with him with 34 and 29. On the Falcon side, Pred was 33 and 33. He was the lone person to go even, and everybody else went negative. So that's how we got to a game 5, where the Vegas Falcons were able to take it in round 11 behind 14-7 from Young X, the shooter. Yes, he was ready for it all, bro. He was ready for all the smoke. X has showed up. He said, "You know what? I want another win. I want to make sure that Rokkr has no way of getting into champs contention at this point. I want to essentially eliminate them from champs contention with Optic. Now bring in Mercules." So yeah, nasty work from Xnid. This consequentially, in the grand scheme of things, is very important for the season. And this was nasty work from the Vegas Falcons. They played spoiler in the worst way. So in our next series, we had the Boston Breach taking on the Carolina Royal Ravens. You guys can see I thought it'd be a 3-2 in favor of the Boston Breach, but it was a blinker for the Ravens. Let's see what happened. So we had a 3-0 for the Carolina Royal Ravens side, and it was done in the wow, the funniest way actually. So Rex was a series MVP. Like I said before, Rex is really coming into his own. You guys can see he had 9,000 damage. The next closest person was Slasher with 8,400. So this guy was absolutely frying. 1.35 plus 19 on the series. And then on the Boston Breach side, everybody did decently for the most part, with the exception of Big Wake, who had a .66 and went -24. So yeah, if you get better production out of Big Wake, it's probably a closer series, and maybe it goes 5. Maybe Boston wins. Who knows? Anyways, the Skyline map one went the way of the Royal Ravens, and honestly, TJ Halley, he just let him hang. He dropped 40 and 30. He was having bad on this map. His pace was insane. Excuse me. And then on the other side, Snoopy 28 and 28, Purge 32 and 32. They tried their very best, but just was not enough in the end. Red card map 2 went the way of the Carolina Royal Ravens, as you guys can surmise. Gwen was 9-7 and Rex was 9-6, and that's pretty much all she wrote. Map 3 Hossie Hardpoint. Map 3 Hossie Control went the way of the Carolina Royal Ravens. Obviously, Gwen went 33 and 25, and Rex was 33 and 23 to send the Boston Breach Boys back to the lobby in record time. Now, looking at our next matchup of Saturday, we had another surprise upset. The Optic Texas Boys. The Optic Texas Boys took down the Vancouver Surge 3-0. Say it ain't so, cuh. And yeah, they got it done. Shotzi was a series MVP. The Warlord might be back, ladies and gentlemen. Skies even had a decent series before he got dropped. More on that in the next video. But yeah, it was 250 to 159 in favor of the green wall on Skyline HP. Honestly, Shotzi went absolutely nuts. He was 48 and 32 in this map one. Hook was 38 and 33, Dashy 36 31, and Sky's 36 and 28. So they all just went absolutely nuts. On the Vancouver Search side, Nasty was 22 and 41, minus 19. Neptune 36 and 39, 04 32 and 39, Abuza 34 and 39. So yeah, I mean, if you get a better game out of Nasty, it's decidedly a much closer one, and who knows how it goes. Map 2, Hossie S&D. Abuza was 1-9, Neptune's 8-6, 04 7-6. And then on the Optic Texas side, they were just going nuts. Hook was 10-4, Dashy 6-5, Shotzi 7-5, and then Skies, he did okay at 4-4, but had his feet up. Map 3, Protocol Control. Optic absolutely belted these guys. Neptune was the only one, along with 04 to put up a valiant effort on the Surge side. 23 and 25 for 04 and 22 and 22 for Nep. But Optic was just too much here. Dashy 26 and 17. Hook, the Nuke, 28 and 18. Shotzi 22 and 21. And Skies 21 and 17. Too much pressure from the Optic boys, truly. And I felt like this was honestly just another Vancouver Surge online series. I've noticed that Nasty has not been having a great online year consistency wise. So I feel like there's always potential for him to just have a bad series online. And that's how Vancouver keeps losing these random series online. Now, in the next series, we had the Miami Heretics take on the Los Angeles Thieves. And this was a Game 5 victory for the Miami Heretics. You guys can see a whole lot of red in my Saturday. Let's see how Miami got it done, ladies and gents. So, it was a 3-2, obviously, as I said a second ago. And Super was a series MVP. A 3.11 S&D KD. Jesus Christ. We'll get to that in a minute. They let him do whatever he wanted in S&D. So looking at the series, Super had a 1.31 with 93 kills and 71 deaths, and he was absolutely the standout in the lobby. Ghosty on the Thieves side was MVP with a 1.13, 93 and 82. But let's look map by map to see how things got done. Map 1, red card. Hardpoint went the way of the Thieves, 250 to 125, as we all expect. Ghosty dropped 37 and 21. He went absolutely bonkers to carry the Thieves to a victory here. And then Scrap was 29-23, so the AR duo came to play. On the other side of the Miami Heretics, Metals was 31 and 30, and he did the best of anyone on the team. And then his AR duo, AR duo. The main AR, I guess, on the team, I think Rancor is the main AR. Maybe he's a flex, but I'm pretty sure it's the main AR, 24 and 28. So, map 2, Hacienda S&D went the way, of course, of the Miami Heretics. Their S&D is very, very, very solid as of late, so that's something to definitely keep an eye on. S&D wins championships. So Metals and Super, they were everything for the Miami Heretics here. Metals was 9-5, and then Super was 12-5. Jesus Christ, +7 is insane. A 2.4 in S&D is unreal. And then on the other side, Scrap was 9-7, and the only other person to keep up with him slightly was Ghosty, who was 6-8. So in the map 3, the Vault Control, that went the way of the LA Thieves very decisively with a 3-1 behind a 27-21 from Hydra, and then 26-23 from Scrap. Now on the Miami Heretics side, Rancor was 28-28, and Super, his AR duo, tried to keep up with him with a 1.21, 23-19, but LA Thieves were just too dominant on this one. Speaking of too dominant on the map, the Miami Heretics were too dominant on Hacienda Hardpoint in map 4. Scrap was 19-26, and then Hydra was 24-24. Those were the standouts for Thieves. And then on the other side, everybody just fried. Super was 27-13. Rancor was right there with them at 26-22, and they were all positive. So honestly, the Miami Heretics, they just cooked. Game 5, Rewind S&D, a map that Thieves typically run. The only thing running in this Game 5 was the PP down Thieves' leg, because Game 5, Round 11 went the way of the Miami Heretics, where Super dropped 16-4 on their head tops. 16-4. His AR duo Rancor was 4-11. Super is different. I told you guys when he joined the league that he was going to be a superstar and transform this team. I was not expecting this. I thought he would unlock this team, and they had insane potential, potentially to be one of the best teams in the game because of how good I observed them be in challengers years ago. But I was not expecting them to become a clear-cut top 3 team at some point in this season, but they have done that. So, looking at our next series, the first of Sunday, we have who I just said is a clear-cut top 3 team, almost getting taken down by LAG, a team that hasn't won in literal months. So, yeah, this was an interesting one. Let's look at it in an expanded view. So, looking at an expanded view, you can see the Miami Heretics, like I said, won in Game 5. Super back-to-back series MVPs on the weekend. 2-0 weekend. Phenomenal for the kid. Yeah, so let's look at how they got it done. Super 1.26, 92-73. Phenomenal series from him. And then on the other side, Kismet 100 kills, 93 deaths, and a 1.08 on the LAG side. Free the Bulldog, man. 11,000 damage is insane. So yeah, let's look at map 1. It went the way of the LAG boys. Another surprise map 1 win for LAG. Hacienda Hardpoint is definitely one of their stronger maps, especially with Johnny and Fellow on the team now. So I like this look for them. Kiz 36-28. He let it all hang out. And so did Johnny 27-26. Then on the other side, Super was 36-23. He went absolutely nuclear. And Real was right there with him with 29-26. But it was not enough to get it done in a very close game. In the map 2 red card S&D, Miami Heretics. The new look Heretics are S&D masters. And Super is the leader of the charge. He was 9-3 here. And then, of course, Metals is right there with him with 7-3. And the map 3 control, this was a barn burner. Honestly, this was a really fun control. If you missed it, you should definitely go back and watch it. Rancor was 31-19, Super was 23-19. Then on the other side, of course, Kismet was 26-23, and Lunars tried his very best to weld them to a Game 5 victory behind 24-19. But Miami Heretics were too much on the map, and they got it done. In the map 4 on red card HP, of course, the LAG boys were able to take it behind a 33 bomb from Lunars and a complimentary 31 to boot from Kismet the Bulldog. And then on the other side, Metals dropped 32. And the support there for him was really Real with 27-30. But everybody else on the team, Super and Rancor, they just had a rough one. So that's how we got to a Game 5 where, oh my God, the Miami Heretics absolutely starched them 6-0 behind a 9-3 from Real and a 5-3 from Rancor. So it was really just a Real takeover. If you watch that map, Real was doing literally whatever he wanted to get Miami Heretics the wins in these maps. In this map, and then the teammates were just coming to get errant kills or find the last couple people on the map. So it was just a Real masterclass. So in our next series, we have the Toronto Ultra taking on Cloud9 New York. This is a pretty fun one. I'm not going to look at that one in expanded view because it went the way we expected it to. The Vault map 1 capsule dropped, I believe. Let's check it out actually. So Kleenex was a series MVP. Not really too surprising. Kleenex has been having a really, really good resurgence at the time when Ultra needed him to. So 1.19 with 101 kills and 85 deaths is absolutely phenomenal from the young man, Toby. And yeah, let's check out the map one because that's what I was curious about. Yeah, map one, Capsule dropped 39 and he went absolutely nuts. And then on the other side, Kleenex dropped 40. So we had a 39 and a 40, but fortunately for Capsule, he walked away with the victory here. Then the map four Hacienda, I believe, was pretty close too. Yeah, okay. So 250, 191. So C9's much improved here. If you're a C9 fan, this is a very encouraging series. Great looks here for your new team. They look phenomenal. So you can build on this, and definitely they could probably make a decent run at Major 4. I don't think they have a great chance of qualifying for champs, but who knows? If they win it all, it's possible. And this is how it starts. You know, you got to sow the seeds. It's not always with wins. Sometimes it's with losses, excuse me, but it's how you look in those losses that really matters. So, speaking of losses and how you look in losses, the LA Thieves did not look good in this 3-0 loss to my home team, Atlanta Faze. Okay, so here we go. Whole lot of red. Red team won. Red team was guaranteed to win, but Salim definitely won the series MVP with a 2.29 in hard point. Jesus Christ, and a 1.95 on the series. Holy cow. All right, let's get into this. Not a lot to talk about. Celium 39-17 map 1. Scrap was the only other player on Thieves to do well with the 27-22 scoreline. Celium 7-4 on map 2, draws a 8-7, and a BZ 8-7. And then on the other side, Ghosty was the only one to put up a valiant effort with 10-6. Map 3, Celium 26-16, draws a 29-28, and a BZ 28-25. And that's how we got it done. LA Thieves, they put up a valiant effort in this map 3 protocol, but FaZe just dominated them, and it was pretty much over by round 4. They almost won it on round 3, but Thieves just clutched it up in the end. And yeah, I mean, they absolutely dominated them. FaZe look like they just really like this matchup now, and they've kind of figured out how they want to play in it to be more dominant, like consistently, because they just pulled ahead now. They've beaten the Thieves the last 2 times they played on land, and they absolutely mollywopped them here with this 3-0. So yeah, guys, that's about wrapped up for me this week. Let's see how we're doing on the leaderboard to close things out. Thanks for all the love and support lately. Appreciate you guys. So I am top 500 for Major 4 so far, and let's see the whole season. I'm scared. So rank 25. Guess it hasn't updated yet. Okay. All right. Well, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Your boy is still top 25 in the world. So, hey, appreciate all the love and support. Hope you guys have a great morning, noon, or night, like I said before. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Once again, this is Chris for Fake Sports News or Axis Rotation. I'm signing off. Peace.